So your learners are paying attention, but just because they're paying attention doesn't mean that they are engaged. Let me explain. I'm Jay Bryan, Learner Engagement Specialist, and I want to talk to you all about the three types of learner engagement. That's right, the three types of learner engagement. So I remember when my wife and I were in premarital counseling, and as well as at the wedding ceremony, this was discussed as well. And what happened was they got a rope. They got three strands of rope, and they told us that each strand represented myself, my wife, and then God. And they demonstrated, or our counselor demonstrated, how you could easily pull, if you pull it strongly enough, you could rip the rope apart. But if you intertwine the ropes, had all three strands together, it was virtually unbreakable. That's how the three types of learner engagement are. Each one is helpful in its own right, but together, if you can get all three types, you will have such strongly engaged learners. So what are the three types? So the three types are body, mind, and connection. Body, mind, connection. Now I'm going to talk about these in the order from the least engaged to the most engaged. So the first one is body. So body engagement, or something that engages the body, you can engage learners' bodies by having them actually, that sounds crazy. You can pause on that, didn't mean to say it like that. But you can tell that a learner is engaged with the body type of learner engagement because they're participating in the assignments, okay? They're participating. Now, someone can participate in the assignment. They can raise their hand to ask a question. They can talk. They can write, type in the chat if it's virtual. They can do all those things and not really be that engaged. They can be doing those things and be thinking about something else completely. So that is body engagement. While that is important, that is an important form of learner engagement. And there are other forms as well, but that's an important one. Let's talk about an even stronger one, and that is the mind engagement. So the mind level of learner engagement means that the learner is thinking about what they are learning. They're thinking about the content, they're thinking about the material, they're tossing the ideas around in their head. So a great example of a way to get someone's mind engaged with the learning is to have them complete activities that make them think. So an example of this would be saying, hey, okay, you all, what would I do in this situation that is the scenario that I have on my screen or that I have in front of you up on the projector board? What would you do? They have to think about the material that they've learned in order to come up with an answer for that scenario. So that is the second type. That is mind engagement. They have to think through the ideas, and that is engaging them. So that's the next level. Then there's the highest level of engagement. That is connection. Now you might say, well, Jay, they're connected when they do the body and the mind. What's connection mean then? Well, the connection level of engagement means that the learner is able to connect something from their own personal life to the material at hand. So a great example of this that I recently had in a training that I was teaching was someone brought up, I'm a big fan of tea, right? All kinds of different types of tea, Earl Grey, such and such. There's a local place here where I live that they serve tea and they sell tea as well. I was talking to some of the trainees about tea, and they were discussing how there was a certain type of tea called dandelion tea, which is doesn't necessarily taste the best, at least in their opinion, in my opinion as well, but it's good for you. And they talked about some of the research behind it and things like that. And so as I was continuing with my lesson, there came a portion where I had to talk about something that involved a consumer or a customer's opinion versus the facts of the situation and how their perception is everything. Now, there are several examples I could have used, but the best example, you all, was about that tea. Why? Because we had just talked about tea. Crazy, right? We just talked about tea a second ago. So I used that as an example. I incorporated it in. And so all of the learners who were engaged in that discussion, who they themselves drank tea, they like drinking the different types of herbal and non-herbal, caffeinated, non-caffeinated teas. The whole discussion we had, research based, not research based, all that came to bear when I was relating that to what we were talking about at the time. And that is a small example, but there are several other ways. The best thing you can do is relate a trainee or a learner's experience to what material you're teaching right then. And that is the highest level, because then the learner feels connected. So those are the three types of learner engagement. You have body, mind, and connection. Body, mind, and connection. If you would like for me to come in and work with your team, specifically your corporate trainers or your learning and development professionals, or anyone who really educates people and works with people in that form, if you want me to come work with you on learner engagement, you can check my speaking availability by emailing info@jbryanspeaks.com. Again, that's info@jbryanspeaks.com. You can also go to www.jbryanspeaks.com, my website, or again, www.jaybryanspeaks.com. Now, you all, one more time, just for a recap, we talked about the three types of learner engagement. Body, they're engaged, but that's the lowest level. Mind, that is when they have to start to think through the ideas, the content that you've given them. So you can use scenarios and things for that. And then the highest level is connection. How do I personally connect to this material? That is the highest level of engagement. And if you have all three, you're golden. Again, you all, I'm Jay Bryan. I'm about to get out of here. But remember, you all, get engaged, get connected. All right. Peace.